Veterans, do you know what you need to be doing before your VA compensation and pension exam, during and after? In today's video, I am going to give you some tips to help you prepare and nail your VA compensation and pension exam. Make sure you stick around. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Dwayne. I got a video for that Kimball, United States Army veteran and retired VA rating specialist. Today's video, how do you nail your VA compensation and pension exam? I'm going to give you some tips to help you do just that. But before we get into today's video, make sure you click the link in the description section and get signed up for my next webinar. Now, in this webinar, I'm going to be explaining a few things about the VA, but most importantly, I'm going to be explaining the educational services that I provide to veterans and active duty service members and how you can work with me. Also, the webinar is free. So, how do you nail that C&P exam? It's not that hard, people, but bear with me because I'm going to break it down for you. Let's go ahead and get into it. Number one, the first thing that you need to be doing is understand the purpose of the exam, all right? A lot of veterans, they go to the C&P exam and they think that that examiner is there to treat them. No, that examiner is not there to treat you. They are not your friend. Do not fall for the okie doke of AKA, thank you for your service. Oh, my daughter, my son, my niece, my nephew was in the Marines or the Army. Don't fall for that. You're there to take care of business and they're there to do a particular job, okay? Number two, review your claim, all right? Understand, one, the conditions you're claiming, how you're claiming them, pre-service aggravation, direct service connection, increase, secondary, or is it a presumptive, okay? That is crucial that you understand that, okay? Because a lot of veterans just go in there and say, oh, let me just tell you my story. Don't do that. Don't be that veteran, okay? Number three, know your medical history. Be familiar with your diagnosis, treatment records, and symptom history. Ensure everything aligns with what's in your VA file, okay? So you've heard me talk about diagnostic code criteria, all right? So for whatever condition that you're claiming, you need to know, okay, do I warrant a 0%, 10%, 20, 30, 40, 50, 70, 80, 90, 100, whatever? And if so, what is that criteria? Do I have evidence to support it? Okay? It's very important, people. A lot of people don't do that. I didn't even do it my first go around, all right? But I learned really quick. Let's keep going. Number four, bring supporting evidence, all right? Now, I cannot tell you if that C&P examiner is going to look at your evidence. I've heard from veterans and they said, oh, you know, the doctor said, oh, you got a DBQ? Yeah, let me look at that. Oh, you got a progress notes? Let me look at that, all right? It's going to be hit and miss, and it's going to depend on what type of examiner you have. Now, I will tell you this. If you show up with a 3-ring binder with 150 pages of stuff, will they look at that? Probably not. I wouldn't, because they have to get through that DBQ. They're supposed to, okay? But again, at a minimum, I would take what I'm claiming, the conditions, right? And the DBQs for those conditions, if you have them, plus the nexus state, because you may get lucky and your particular C&P examiner may want to look at it, all right? Let's keep going. Number five, be honest, okay? I cannot stress that enough. And what I mean by that is don't over-explain. Again, a lot of veterans, they go in there, oh, let me just tell you my story. And then they start talking about they pushed little Sally and Sue off the monkey bars in the 3rd grade, and it was a hot day, and they had a red shirt on, and they were sweating. No, stick to the facts. Hey, I'm claiming a back condition. I was awarded the parachute badge. I was airborne. I didn't go on sick call and get a lot of things documented, but I had several jumps. Here's, my jump log or whatever it is, explain that, be direct, but also I would be short with it, short, direct, and to the point. And you may have to keep that examiner on task. Don't let them go on to the next condition until you've actually went through all your medical history with that particular condition, okay? It doesn't take 30 minutes to go through everything, all right? Don't be that vet. Number 6, use bad days example. Okay, so what I mean by that is whatever condition you're claiming, not just talk about the symptoms, but talk about the days that your symptoms are really bad. The days that your symptoms are so bad, you have to call off work. The days that your symptoms are so bad, you have to lay in a bed. You can't go to different functions with your family, okay? Talk about those, all right? Don't downplay it. This is not the time to downplay it or suck it up or just kind of willy-nilly and be like, oh, well, sometimes it hurt. Explain it. You may not be hurting that day, but also you want to make sure you explain to that examiner the days that you are in severe pain, all right? Number 7, practice key talking points. Rehearse a brief explanation of how your condition affects you, okay? And not only how it affects you on your job, how it affects you socially, just talked about it, right? On the number 6. And this is particular with mental conditions, okay? So let's just say you're diagnosed and you suffer from PTSD. How does that PTSD affect you on your job? Has your job has to give you a reasonable accommodation? Maybe you're working from home part-time. If you're a salesperson, maybe they say, okay, we're going to lighten your load, or we're going to, instead of having you in the office on the phone with sales, we're going to have you, riding around and maybe supervising other salespeople in your district or region or whatever, all right? And just think about it, the night before, the morning of, we're in the shower, just know, okay, I'm showing up for this condition, and let me jot some things down on a 3x5 card and just rehearse it, okay? Don't overthink it, though. Don't overthink it. Number 8, understand the role of the examiner, okay? And I talked about this in number 1 as well, right? Many CMP examiners are contractors, not VA employees. They are trained to ask specific questions based on the VA disability rating criteria. Now, not all do that. Not all of them do that. Again, people, when you come over here to my channel, you get some education, okay? I'm not just hooping and hollering and just throwing stuff out there. You get education. If you have a lawyer, VSO, or claims agent, that's fine. But guess what? They're not in that CMP exam with you. All right? So you need to know, one, again, what conditions you're showing up for. What is the diagnostic code criteria you feel you meet for that particular percentage? And do you have the evidence to back it up? Also, can you explain it? All right? Number 9, document the exam privately. Now, you're going to do this afterwards, okay? And it may be hard for a lot of vets, especially if you're showing up with 5 or 10 different conditions, but do what you can. Do what you can. For example, let's say you're going for a back exam and that doctor does not use a goniometer. You need to document that because the regulations are clear. In order for a VA CMP examiner, in order for a VA third-party contract examiner, even a private physician that's doing a DBQ for you in person, because it has to be in person for the back, they need to use and document that they used a goniometer to get that correct measurement of your flexion extension. All right? It's just that simple, okay? So If they don't, make sure you document it, all right? Call the VA and put it on a 4138. Let them know, hey, they didn't use it, all right? Number 10, mentally prepare for a short exam. Some exams are as short as 10 or 15 minutes. Do not let the short time rattle you, all right? Now, I know sometimes veterans, they'll say, they'll get something from one of these third-party contractors and they'll say, oh, you're going to be here half a day and you're only there for 2 exams. You're not going to be there for 4 hours. No, that's not going to happen. But if that exam goes 5 minutes and you know that examiner didn't measure your range of motion, didn't ask you certain questions that's on the DBQ because you've already done your work, all right, or didn't ask you any questions of the information that's in the diagnostic code criteria, then it's up to you to let them know, wait a minute, we didn't cover everything, right? But again, these are things that you need to be thinking about before the exam. Also, don't overthink it. And I always like to use the term, you always want to stay ready so you don't have to get ready, all right? Now, go ahead and put multiple ones in the comment section if you're still watching, because I got a bonus for you. So a lot of people probably already clicked off this. They're not going to get this bonus, all right? But let me know by putting a bunch of ones in the comment section to let me know if you're still watching, okay? Bonus. Confirm what exams you are showing up for, okay? So let's just say you're claiming migraines, back, and PTSD. They should schedule, if you meet the criteria for a CMP exam, they should be scheduling a musculoskeletal, a neurological for migraines, and a mental for the PTSD. Now, how do you do that? You're going to call 800-827-1000. And you're going to ask that rep, hey, can you look in VBMS and look at the 2507 medical request? Now, they may say, well, what is that? Well, I'm trying to confirm what exams I'm showing up for. And they may turn around and say, oh, we don't know that. You have to contact QTC, LHI. That's a lie. Because think about this. How do those third-party CMP examiners know what exams to do for you if the VA doesn't tell them? The way they tell them, they send a request to them saying, hey, do an exam for this particular veteran, do a PTSD exam, migraine, and a back. It's in VBMS. Don't let them lie to you, people. I know when I worked there, it was a 2507 medical request. So just say, hey, can you look at the medical request that was completed by the VSR or RVSR and that was sent over to QTC, LHI, whichever company that contacts you. Also, when that company contacts you and you call them, or when you pick up the phone when they call you, ask them. If they tell you the same BS, say, well, wait a minute. How do you all know which exams to do? Because the VA has to request those, right? So how do you all know what exams to schedule me for? What body system, all right? The last bonus. Review the diagnostic code criteria for each condition you are showing up for. Now, talked about that briefly earlier, okay? And I have a video on diagnostic codes. And in my book, I talk about diagnostic codes, okay? It's very important that you understand it. Now, I know a lot of VSOs, lawyers, and attorneys, they don't think it's important. I think it's important because you're going to often hear veterans say, I got lowballed. And I think this is a way that veterans get lowballed because they don't understand the diagnostic code criteria. And they go in that exam, and they start talking about who shot John and everything else besides what's in that diagnostic code criteria, okay? Now, it could be, I could have added like 5 or 6 other things to this particular list, but I think these are the most important that will help you nail that exam. Keep in mind, do not get long-winded. Do not go in there and say, oh, let me just tell you my story. No, don't do that. Stick to the facts. Again, there's some things you need to do before, during, and after. With that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and as always, share this video with your fellow veterans. Thank you.